A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. Seated before the dials of your radio receiver, listening to a faint voice from the blackness beyond, while the one who speaks with words of friendship is debating the destruction of your world. Listen now as Escape brings you Michael Gray's exciting story, The Invader. Here in the Nevada desert, our forward observation post is a slit trench less than 2 miles from ground zero of Operation Doorstep 8A bomb test. The time exactly 30 seconds to 8 hour. That's the voice of our official guide, Colonel Jim Donovan.
All personnel put on protective glasses and get below trench abutments. We have 8 hour minus 16... 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There it goes. There it is. You'll hear the sound of the explosion any second now.
See that flash, Commander?
Yes. Check the cyclo gauges for reaction.
Yes, sir. No reaction, 0 count. What an extraordinary race.
Very primitive. The main object appears to be to kill each other off at periodic intervals.
I wonder why the Council doesn't order extinction.
There's hope. That's why we've been sent.
But the red zero discs vanished on the same job last Delo. Why waste more lives? The things should be exterminated.
Don't be unscientific. The Red Zero discs probably disobeyed orders and landed on water.
Water?
Yes, water.
What a place. What do they call those creatures, Commander?
Humans.
Humans? What an odd name.
I'm afraid they're a very odd race.
That you, Al?
Yes. Yes, Martha.
I saw the bomb test on television this morning. You see it in school?
No, dear.
Oh. Where are you going now?
Into the lab. Call me when dinner's ready, will you, dear? Yeah, let's
Albert, I want to talk to you.
Huh?
I said I want to talk to you.
Oh, yes, dear, of course.
I saw Mrs. Warren today.
Yes, dear.
Will you stop messing around and pay attention to what I'm saying?
Yes, dear.
I should merely like to remind you that Mrs. Warren is your school principal's wife. She hinted that he's not pleased with your work. In fact, he's not pleased at all. Albert, did you hear what I said?
Yes, dear.
Come back here. Now, stand still and listen to me. How do you think I feel having the principal's wife laughing at you and laughing at me, too? This is the third job you've had in the past 2 years, and you are going to keep this one. I know it's hard for a scientific genius to settle down teaching 12th grade chemistry, but this time you're going to stick. I mean it, Albert. You're making yourself the laughing stock of the school with your crazy experiments, and it's got to stop. I'm just not going to spend the rest of my life following you around from job to job like a gypsy.
Well, of course, dear. Oh, I understand.
You'd better understand. I'm not going to stand for it anymore. If you're not down for dinner in 5 minutes, there won't be any dinner for you.
Commander? Magnetrons oscillating.
Probably magnetic storms.
No, it's a definite signal on our channel. That's the council's calling.
Raise and bring it in.
Station MXA calling. Station MXA calling. Station MXA, over and out.
That's not the council. Check the frequency.
The emergency band.
Somebody's playing a joke. Tell them to clear the ether.
Stellar disk white 0 now. Who's called?
Moment. Ask for code check.
Stellar disk white 0 now. Give name. Code check.
Station MXA, where are you?
Give me the frequent tone. Listen, MXA. This is Commander of Delta Ship White 0 Null on space mission. Get off this channel. Make a note for the log. We'll report it back to the council. What was his identification?
Sounded like MXA.
MXA. Check the cyclo listing.
There's no such station listed, Riss.
There must be. Cross-check and fix.
Yes, Riss. No. Absolutely no listing.
Oh, no. It's impossible. Those blundering primates couldn't have the intelligence
What primates, Riss?
Humans. It's incredible, but use the Magna band. We'll keep emergency open. Fix and raise MXA immediately.
Delta Ship White 0 Null. Delta Ship White 0 Null.
Are you coming down to supper?
Oh, Martha, it's amazing. I've made contact. I spoke to them.
Supposed who?
The Delta White 0 Null. I've checked the station list. There's no such call sign. It means only one thing, Martha. One thing. Space. Men in space. You know what that means?
Oh, stop it. Albert, when are you going to grow up? Your dinner's getting cold.
Commander Delta White 0 Null, calling station MXA. Where are you located?
Commander Delta White 0 null. This is station MXA. I'm located at La Mirada, California.
What planet?
Planet Earth. That's continent of North America. Who are you? Repeat who you are. Over.
Are you human?
Yes. You aren't...
No, of course not. We're of Epsilon from the race of planetoid Delta.
Delta.
On mission of exploration for the Council.
Council?
The Council of Quantum Major, the nebulae Ursula. We're arriving in your atmosphere in 2 delos more to examine your planet. We cannot continue this unauthorized contact without permission from the Council. If granted, we will raise contact again at your earliest flight time tomorrow.
Oh. Did you hear that, Martha? Did you hear?
Are you or are you not coming down to dinner?
Oh, I've done it. Out there in space is another intelligence. Another race. And I've made contact.
For the last time, are you coming down?
Martha, listen, I've made one of the most important discoveries of the century. The first contact with another world, another people, or something. Think what it'll mean for civilization. Think what they'll bring. Maybe a whole new way of life.
Just another one of those radio amateur friends of yours playing a joke.
No, Martha, that's impossible. The frequency's completely outside the UHF band. No station could even reach the range, much less transmit speech. Oh, yes, tomorrow I can ask questions now. I can find out more.
Right now, I've stood enough. I've watched you wreck job after job with your silly crackpot ideas. I've been hoping that you'd come to your senses.
But you heard, Martha.
I've put up with this pile of junk long enough. If you don't come to your senses once and for all, I'm through with you.
Oh, but, Martha...
I'll give you 5 minutes more to wash and get downstairs, or I'm through Albertana. I mean it. Al. Wake up, Albert.
Oh, I'm kind of feathered. Oh, yes, of course.
Hurry up and get showered. You'll be late.
Of course. Oh, I mustn't be late. Oh, my. Let me see now. Early light time. Oh, I hope I'm not late.
Where are you going?
He said he'd make contact early and late. Light time. Don't worry about breakfast, dear. Just fix some coffee.
You're getting showered and dressed now. Now, do you hear me? You know what the principal said the last time you were late?
Martha, I'm not going to school.
You.
Oh, I can't. Don't you understand, dear? Today I'm going to contact Delta White No. In fact, I'm going to contact him right now.
You mean to tell me that you're risking your job for that crazy?
Oh, Martha, it's not crazy. Nobody on this earth could have transmitted on that frequency. There's only one explanation.
All right. I can see that there's only one solution to this. And you've asked for it.
Martha, don't. Martha, stop. What are you going to do? Martha!
Get away from that door.
Martha,
by the
please.
time I finish with this place, get out of my way. All you'll need is a broom.
Stop! Stop what I say, Martha! Now, then. You listen to me for a change. For 14 years, I've been teaching sniveling little monsters to blow themselves up for less money than a garbage collector. And for 10 years, I've listened to you nag me out of any sort of manhood. But if you lay one finger on that equipment or come in this room again without my express permission, I'll kill you. Station MXA calling Delta White, 0 null. Station MXA calling Delta White, 0 null.
This is Delta White 0 null to station MXA. Can you read us?
You're coming in loud and clear.
Council authorizes to continue contact. What is your name and function?
My name's Tanner. Albert Tanner. I'm a chemistry teacher, La Mirada High School.
A scientist?
Yes. Well, kind of, in a way.
We too have servants of learning. Did you construct this magnetron channel?
Yes, but I'm afraid it's a bit elementary. I had to use war surplus stuff, and that's never very satisfactory.
Oh. Is there war in your territory at this moment?
Oh, no, Commander. Oh, everything's quite peaceful here.
Good. We're looking for a suitable land space and don't want to arrive in the middle of your hostilities.
Well, you'd be very welcome, Commander. We've plenty of space and open fields all around us here. It'd be a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome, Commander. Might I ask, what is the position of your planet?
Planetoid Delta is 5 light years behind the summer solstice.
I'm afraid I don't understand that.
In elementary mathematical formulae, its gamma is to the power of epsilon to the 7th vector.
Oh, of course. Yes, of course. Now, how is it we haven't observed your planetoid before? I couldn't find you on any of our star atlases.
We're exactly opposite your sun. This would make observation by ordinary optical instruments impossible. But with our magnetic electroscope, we are able to filter out the sol rays and observe you perfectly.
I see. Oh, I see, Commander. When do you expect to arrive?
By your time, late in your so-called afternoon. We shall determine that by later contact.
And, Commander, might I ask a personal question?
Of course.
What do you, what do you look like?
Like all members of the race Delta of the nebulae Ursula, of course. Is there any other way to look?
Mirada Police Department, Sergeant Williams.
Mrs. Tanner, 35 Crescent Heights. My husband just made contact with a Delta Zero something in space. They're going to land this afternoon.
Oh, will you say that a little slower, please?
I said that the men from space are going to land this afternoon. I heard my husband talking to them. They've got to send a policeman out of here because of the snow.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Now, take it easy. How did you say your husband got this information?
Through the radio. He doesn't use radio.
Sure, I understand. These spacemen radioed your husband.
But I keep telling you, I heard them. The door was open. I could hear them very distinctly. Oh, please, you've got to sit down.
Yeah, this sounds like a matter for the Army, Mrs. Tanner. Why don't you call them?
Oh, but I don't know why I can't go. All right, I'll call them. Oh, what's their number? Oh, please, hurry.
Well, one moment.
Please, hurry. Please, don't let him. Please.
It's Mirada 4637.
Yes, thank you. I'll call him right away.
Yeah, you do that, Mrs. Tanner. Yes. They'll take care of it.
U.S. Army, Camp Ronald.
Can I speak to something in charge, please? It's emergency.
What's it about, please?
We're being invaded by Delta White. I mean, it's spaceships that are coming.
Hold the line, please. I'll give you the duty officer.
Are you still...
Officer of the day, Lieutenant Jacobs.
My name is Mrs. Tanner, Mrs. Albert Tanner, 35 Crescent Heights. Now, please, you've got to send soldiers out here right away. My husband is going to...
Oh, that's interesting, Commander. How long have you been in space?
By your time, 5 months. But remember, our speed is twice the speed of light.
Uh-huh. You use atomic energy?
Discarded in our bleak age. We use the natural magnetic forces that surround the universe.
Well, what about friction heat caused by your velocity through the atmosphere?
Our speed is adjustable by control of the magnetic fields we ride in. In any case, the disc hull is of traxendium. It's pressured to withstand anything. Anything, that is, but water.
But water? But everything in nature has water. Even the human body is 80% water.
What? You have water in your body?
Yes. It's in different forms, things such as blood or sweat, but it's still water.
So thank you for warning us.
What's wrong with water?
To humans, apparently nothing. But to our life form, water is a deadly corrosive.
But our atmosphere contains water.
We know, and have sufficient exterior protection for the moisture of your atmosphere. Did you say your habitation was inland?
Yes, you're perfectly safe, sir. We're over 100 miles from the nearest ocean or river. Now, if you will follow my carrier signal down to the landing, you'll be all right.
Thank you, Tanner. I'll report your assistance to the council. Do you think your authorities will object to our visit?
I'm sure they won't, sir. They'll be honored. We'll all be honored.
Listen, man. I mean, the bad noise is a joke. Are you or are you not going to help?
Mrs. Tanner, the CEO is away for the weekend, and I've got an appointment. Can't it wait till Monday?
Look, either you send help right away, or I'll send a report of your conduct to my congressman. With a copy to your commanding general.
Yes, Mrs. Tanner. I'll be over.
You really trust that human, Commander? Well, there isn't much option. We've orders to carry out. It's an incredible race, but Tanner seems harmless enough. We're meeting pressure risks, probably entering the outer atmosphere. Better start degaussing and settle on his carrier. 2700, 02. No change. Switch on the water oscillograph. Oscillograph on. Variation? None. Good. We'd better check again with Tanner until we see ground. Right away, Riz. Delta to MXA. Delta to MXA. Over.
MXA 2 Delta, you're in, loud and strong.
We're entering your atmosphere.
I'll check your approach on radar and keep tracking you.
We're going off ether. Leave your channel open.
Yellow Martha, I thought I told you
This
this.
is Lieutenant Jacobs from Catherine Hotel. I heard you talking to the Delta man, and I'm a little scared.
Your wife was worried, so she wanted me to come over.
Oh, I see. I suppose she told you a story about men from space.
Well, yes, sir.
Oh, all right. You probably think I'm crazy, but you'll see. They're coming in right now using my channel as a ground approach. You've been through signal school?
I'm from 27 Signal Corps, sir.
I see. Then you'll recognize the equipment.
Something wrong, Riz. Wrong? Reverse the field. Quickly. There's water. Tanner. We're approaching water, Riz. Tanner, cross-check our position. We have a danger reading.
You're heading straight for us, Commander. You're safe. Why, you're perfectly safe.
Check it again. There's a great deal of water. Did you check it again?
Yes, I did. There's a great deal of water in it.
Tanner.
A great big body of
There's
water.
water down there. Tanner, our signals are a danger. Strong danger. Cross-check your fix. Counter-reverse the magnet. It's water. It's water. Masses and masses of water. Tanner, we've hit water. It's an ocean. Help! Help! We're burning! Ah!
Delta? Delta! What's
checked their position, sir. The signal's getting weaker, but your fix is right. It's within 100 yards of this set.
Let's get outside. Maybe it crashed into the field.
Where is it? There's nothing out there.
But there must be. Maybe it's crashed into the trees, or... Come on.
Albert! Albert! Look!
I'll read it, sir, but I don't...
Go on.
On Saturday, July 14th at 1400 hours, a telephone call was received from Mrs. Albert Tanner, etc., and so forth. And on going out to the back lot, we could see no sign of the space disc. Our attention was then drawn by Mrs. Tanner to the fish pond from which steam could be seen rising. On inspecting the pond, a small circular object approximately 8 inches in diameter could be seen floating on the surface. On attempting to retrieve the object, it disintegrated as if attacked by a powerful corrosive. End of report.
Well, you forgot about the men inside. You've got to say something about their size.
We never saw them, Mr. Tanner.
What are you doing? Don't do that! What are you telling me?
Mr. Tanner, I'm doing this for both of us. If I sent in the report, nobody would believe it. It's better this way.
No! It's the truth. You saw it happen. Why, you know it happened.
The only thing I know is there's no proof. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen. I never saw anything. I never heard anything. That's going to be my report, Mr. Tanner. No occurrence. Incident closed. Good afternoon, Mr. Tanner.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you The Invader by Michael Gray, starring Howard McNear. Fay Baker was heard as Martha, with Edgar Barrier as the commander. Featured in the cast were Paul Frees, Peter Leeds, Bill Bissell, and Leroy Leonard. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week...
You are on a planet of desolation and utter ruin, awaiting the return of your comrades to carry you to safety, while the remains of life about you, crawling and evil, are slowly hemming you in and ruthlessly tracking you down to your death.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Charles Smith's unusual story, North of Polaris.
The everyday grind. Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are alone on the deck of a sinking convict ship, becalmed in a yellow fog, while somewhere in the dark below you, free from the cells that held them, is a deadly band of murderers seeking out your life.
Listen now as Escape brings you Weston Martyr's exciting story, A Sleeping Draught.
That helps. But it's like I say. You can't forget. You can never forget. It is at night that you think about it. With the water outside rushing past the hull. That's when you think. And it can never be the same. You can't trust anybody. Never. Not a soul. I can tell you, you just can't trust them. Not even yourself. What is it, mister?
Mr. Finch says he's ready to board, sir.
Oh, he is, eh? All right, well, I'm not stopping him.
Sir, he insists on bringing them aboard one at a time.
What? Does he think I'm going to miss the tide? There's over 400 of them. It'll take out.
That's what I said, sir, but he...
Mr. Finch, come aboard if you please.
I'm sorry, sir.
I should have resigned, thinking, help these poor devil cargo. Everything I cockalorum, Captain? No, everything is not I cockalorum. What in blazes do you mean ordering my mate about?
No offense intended, none taken, I hope.
I want those scurvy wretches aboard now. All of them. You put them below and we'll weigh anchor.
One at a time, sir. One at a time. We've got to search them.
Why didn't you do that before you took them out of jail?
You'd be surprised what those swine can pick up. Between jail and the docks, Captain. We've got to search them one at a time, and that's a fact. They're murdering devils, every last one of them.
Convicts came aboard one by one. I watched them. They were going from London to a land they'd never seen. A colony had bought them. Australia. 400. The sweepings and scrapings sorted out from the muck of the jails, with Finch in charge of them. Oh, I've carried dirty cargo. Dyewood, for instance, crawling with scorpions and spiders, not to mention snakes. Then there's cattle. But this... weeks and months at sea with a human cargo who'd as soon cut your throat as spit. And what made it worse was I felt sorry for the poor beggars. I watched them come aboard until there were two left.
Name? Wilkes. Search him.
Hey, take your bleeding hands off of me. I ain't got nothing. Ain't you stole me last night? Shut your door! That's enough, Finch. I won't have the cat used on my ship. They'll get enough of it where they're going.
You're a trusting soul, you are, Captain. How would you like that between your ribs? The touch of the cat's a lot better than letting this swine bring a knife aboard. Take him below! I don't know how they do it. Well, me, I don't. You've got to watch them for knives. Next! Right. Ooh, here's the terror. Look at the size of him. Dangerous swine. 3 murders in Australia. Escaped. He's in for it when he gets back. Name?
Abbey. Jonathan Abbey.
Abbey. Well. A gentleman in chains. I am sorry, your worship. Forgive us for daring to lay hands on your highness. I'm sure as though you've been wrongly accused.
That's enough, Finch.
Search him, then take him below. I want Mr. Jonathan Abbey shackled. He's a prize. We mustn't let anything happen to him. From the day we left London docks, I'd taken a violent dislike to Finch. He seemed to be happiest when he was laying about him with his cat on the convicts herded like sheep below decks. He kept them quiet enough. But one night I decided to have it out with him in my cabin. I made it strong, I can tell you, so that even he could understand what I meant. You all finished, Captain? All right, you hear me out. They're a bad lot. 400 of them all bound for Australia, and they don't want to go. You follow me? There's that bloke Abbey. As soon as we touch Sydney, the game's up for him. They'll hang him, sure. That does not mean that you have the right to make life even worse for them here. Oh, no. If I don't, where do you think we'll be? What would you do if you were down there? I'll tell you. Get hold of this ship. That's what you're doing. It'll be easy. They're locked in and we've got a guard. You don't know them like I do. Here's another thing. When I searched them, there was 1 to 5 sovereigns stowed away on every man. Earned or stolen. That'll come to over £1,000 by my figures. They're entitled to that money. It's little enough to take to a wild country. But there's them down there what would slit the gullet of any man for a shilling. You asked me to dainty with them.
That's the way he talked to me. And I can tell you I didn't feel easy anymore. I did something I hadn't done for a long time. Brought 2 pistols out from ship's stores and kept them under my pillow. It was when we got around the Horn that the first convict died from scurvy. We had to put him over the side, of course, and there was a lot of grousing. I went down to the hold with Finch. It was hot and stinking.
Now, you let me talk to him, Captain. I'll put it to rights.
You tell him it couldn't be helped.
Don't you mind. I'll tell him.
Oi! Here comes old Bloody Fight. Hi, Finch. Did you steal the clothes off the poor beggar's back before you threw him in?
Men! Men!
We ain't men, dearie. We're dogs, or haven't you Why didn't you wait to bury poor old Smithy in the ground instead of chucking him in the sea?
All right! We've got another 2 or 3 weeks before we reach land. I'll make a bargain with you. The next one that dies, now it's getting nice and hot, I'll leave him down here. And you can take care of him and mourn him until we get to Australia. How's that? Half a crown, you don't keep him for 3 days.
That's old Bloody Pot, always a nose for business.
If you ain't satisfied with that, I'll see that axe is closed down tight for the rest of the voyage. And you can boil for all of me.
That seemed to settle it for a time. I began to see that in spite of Finch's hardness with them, the prisoners knew he was master and behaved themselves. That is, most of them did. But there were others. And that's what began the trouble. We were 2 days out of the Cook Islands when it happened. Yes?
Captain, there's a man on deck. We brought him up from below. It's horrible.
What happened?
One of the convicts, sir.
Oh? Fight, eh?
Yes, sir.
Here we are, Captain. Mr. Darling ain't much of a surgeon, I must say.
Well, I did what I could. He must have been dead before we got him up here.
He's been cut to pieces.
Not half he ain't.
How did it happen?
Well, I heard him shouting. When I went down the hold, there he was, propped up like against the bars. With his arms through, holding him up.
Poor devil.
Who, him? Nah, he's dead. There's others in for it, though.
What do you mean?
How do you think he got cut up like that? Knives, Captain. Knives!
But you searched them before they boarded.
I did, and truth, I don't know how they done it. Small knives, Captain. Small knives. And we're getting close to Australia, that's what it is. Whoever's got them knives is after money. The 1,000 quid or more what's on this cursed ship.
I don't see...
You're a trusting soul, you are, Captain. Well, maybe there's a dozen of them, maybe 20 with knives. Follow me? They'll run the others and rob them blind. Old sovereign, Captain, you didn't forget, did you? If anybody objects, cut him up in small pieces like this one.
We've got to go down there and put a stop to it.
Yes, I don't think. How many guns you got aboard?
Well, 2 pistols and 4 muskets.
That's a fat lot of good. Oh, well, must take the sweet with us, Sarah. We can try. There's no harm in that. Mark my words, Captain. Before we get to Sydney, all of us will probably have our throats cut. Come on.
Finch and I, with 2 seamen, armed ourselves and went down into the hold and stood outside the bars. Men inside were quiet. Very quiet. They just looked at us, dark-like.
You men!
I'll talk to them. Now, you listen to me. We know some of you are carrying knives. And I want you to throw them out here. Nothing further will be said about it if you do as I say. Well?
Oh, Captain. My porridge wasn't hot enough this morning. And please, can I have sugar in it tomorrow?
That ain't the way to talk to this scum. The captain's a gentleman. I'm not. You know me, don't you?
We know you all right.
You, Abby. You listen to me. I'm giving you until morning to throw them knives out of here. Till morning. If every blasted one ain't out of your dirty hands, I'm going to have you flogged, every bloody one of you. 50
about it.
Till morning. Then 50 lashes. You think about that, Mr. Abbey.
Good morning, Captain dear, and Mr. Finch.
You filthy scum, where's them knives?
Well, they'll do the most good.
All right. I've given you a chance. I've played fair.
Mr. Finch, sir, may I have a word with you?
Oh, come back to your senses, have you?
Now, bend close to the bars, because what I got to say, I got to whisper.
What is it? What is it?
Well, now, it goes like this here.
Well, that's 100 lashes, Will. I'll take you first and handle the cat myself.
Oh, no, sir. Why not take him first? He won't feel it like I will.
The crowd of men parted suddenly, and from out of them was pushed what had once been a man. It fell against the bars, and then, no longer with the support of living arms, it slid to the deck. We looked at him, Finch and me. His life had been worth a sovereign, maybe two. He hadn't either now, and the knives were still in the hole, with them that had killed him.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, many a baseball manager has felt the need of divine guidance to win the pennant. At least once, the story goes, it actually happened. Hear George Murphy, Janet Leigh, and child star Donna Corcoran in Angels in the Outfield on most of these same CBS radio stations. Enjoy this fabulous comedy at the Star's address tomorrow night on the Lux Radio Theater. And now, back to Escape.
As I sees it, we've got to have a council of war in a manner of speaking.
I'll tell you one thing, Mr. Finch. There'll be no flogging.
I can see you're sharper, you are. No, that's right. Too dangerous. We ain't armed for it.
We're in a nasty mood. We've got to be crafty, same as them.
I wish we could spill the old lot of them overboard.
And lose your contract for carrying them? Not bloody likely. Here, listen here. I'll get them knives.
How?
It's Abbey behind this. He tells them what's what. Get him out and the others will come around. Mark my words.
Are you going into the old?
Not yet. We'll go in there. Days after we cut off their water and food, seal the hatch, you see what happens.
They die.
They'll die from knives then. Which do you want? They'll be begging you to take their ruddy knives in 3 days.
And if they don't?
We'll tell them to hand over Abbey to us, that he's the one to blame for their misfortunes. They'll do it.
All right. Is that the only way? I'll give the order.
But not just yet, Captain. We'll let them sit down there and wonder. They wonder what we're going to do about them. Some of them may get nervous. We'll let them wonder a bit.
I didn't see Finch the rest of the day. The barometer had fallen suddenly, and with it came a storm. I can tell you I had my hands full for the next 24 hours. There was no time to worry about what was going on in the hold of the ship, but I didn't think they'd have much stomach for knifing each other and killing. Next morning at breakfast, he didn't turn up at all. We searched the old ship, and then I went down into the hold. And that's where he was. And he hadn't died quickly. Someone had held him against the bars, and the others had... He hadn't died quickly.
Present for you, Captain.
Who did this? Who did it?
I wouldn't waste sleep warning him, Captain. He was a bully and no better than us, except that he was outside.
Abbey? Well, I thought you were shackled.
Yes, I was, but Mr. Finch kindly supplied the key to unfasten me.
You're going to pay for this. All of you. Where are those knives?
In here, Captain. Want to come in and get them?
You'll pay for this.
You're repeating yourself, Captain. Good morning. Blasted convict had dismissed me like I was a clerk in an office. There wasn't anything I could do about it. With Finch out of the way, they knew I was an easy mark. It was the nights that got on my nerves. I could hear things happening, lots of things. And it was awful. Those devils with the knives. And each morning we'd have to pull out 6 or a dozen, all cut about and bleeding. Most of them died. But those with the knives were getting money they stole from the victims. I began to be afraid of me crewmen, that one would take a bribe and let that murdering crowd out. I walked around with 2 pistols in my jacket all the time. And then, late one afternoon, something very bad happened. I was standing by the wheel.
Captain!
Here, bosun.
He got out, sir.
Got out? Who?
The big one, Abby. 2 of us were standing guard. We heard a scream. It was Abby. Said he'd been stabbed. Benson opened the grill to get in, and Abby bashed him on the head and bolted.
What about the others?
I got the girl towed in time. They're safe enough. He must be somewhere on the ship, sir, unless he went overboard.
Not that one. He's up to mischief. Here, take one of my pistols, mister.
Aye, sir.
And pass out the muskets. I want every inch of the ship searched. If he puts up a fight, shoot him. Do you hear me? Shoot him. The night comes quickly in southern parts. Did you ever try to search a ship at night with lanterns? Not easy. Too many shadows. Too many sounds which could be rats. Or a murderer who's bigger than what you are and could choke your life out in half a minute. We couldn't find him. But he was somewhere aboard, waiting his time. Because we were short-handed, what with the crew searching and all, I stood a watch. And I thought about that man whom Finch said had committed 3 murders in Australia.
Don't turn around, Captain. It's only a little knife, but don't move.
What do you want?
A talk?
I've nothing to say to the likes of you, Abby.
That may be, but I have an offer to make you. You know what I'm in for when we reach Sydney?
Finch told me. I've no pity for you, Abby.
I'm not asking for pity. I have an offer to make. The men below are planning to take the ship. I don't think they've got a chance, but they'll be killing. Those that have got the knives have got all the money, too. It's £1,200.
I'm aware of that, mister.
I can get the knives for you.
Huh?
All I want is a chance to get away before the ship docks.
How do I know it's not a trick?
Turn around, Captain. Yeah. My knife. Will that convince you? You must have a pistol. You can shoot me if you want.
What makes you think you can get the knives away from them, Abby?
I can. That's all you need to know.
I couldn't help you openly, you know that. You're put aboard as a murderer, you're in my charge, and it's my job to turn you over to the police as soon as we arrive.
Then...
If you could get the knives, though, I might be able to give you a chance to clear out.
That's all I want. The chance.
All right.
I must have a pistol.
What? A pistol? You take me for a fool?
No, it's the only way to get the knives.
I give you this pistol, you shoot me down. Not likely.
If I'd wanted to do that, Captain, I'd have cut your throat 2 minutes ago.
You're a murderer.
I know.
You can't have it.
And it's either them or your ship and probably your life. Well?
You talk like a gentleman, Mr. Addy, but suppose you want my pistol so you can free him.
You just have to trust me, as I trust you to give me a chance to get away.
Oh. Here, take it.
What about the guards below? They'll shoot.
I'll take you down. I'll say I caught you.
How do I get out again when I've got the knives?
You send word that you want to see me.
All right. Captain, I'm trusting you now. I want that chance to get away.
We'll talk about it if you get the knives. Come on, I'll take you below now and you come back tomorrow.
Keep your voice low, Captain. They think I'm tricking you into making a bargain. They think I stole the pistol. I told them I had to have the knives to make you believe that we wouldn't make trouble. I said we'd take over the ship tonight.
What do you want me to do?
Leave me the key to the grill. I'll slip out tonight and bring you the knives.
Well, they'll want you to let them out, too.
I won't. I'll lock it.
How do I know you will?
You don't. You will have to trust me, Captain.
Did they know about this plan?
All except for the fact that I'm going to lock them in once I'm out.
Give me the knives now.
No. They'd know something was wrong. I'd never get out alive. Give me the key.
All right, Abby. Here.
Tonight.
I waited. And I can tell you I didn't like it. The wind came up a bit and I knew that before sunrise we'd be in Sydney. That is, if I could trust a murderer. At 10 o'clock that night, there was a rap on my cabin door.
One of your crew nearly caught me coming down here. And I've kept my side of the bargain. The knives are all there. No, you needn't worry. Here's your pistol.
You may need it.
Thanks. Now, how do I get away?
We'll be in port in about 6 hours, if the wind holds. You stay aft in the longboat. When you hear the anchor go, drop over the side and swim for it. I'll try to anchor as close to land as possible before I take it in.
If I can land without being seen, I've got some friends who'll hide me.
I don't want to know about it. You just remember, when the anchor lets go, that's your signal.
Thank you, Captain. I trust you, and I'd like to shake hands with you.
I took the hand of the murderer, and we shook hands like old friends. And then he was gone. 2 hours later, the wind went down, and in its place came fog, thick, mucky fog. I had my hands full, what with danger from other ships and the blasted current that knocked you about off the harbour entrance. By 3 o'clock, the fog had shut in properly, and the blessed tide ran us all over the place. But proper dangerous, I can tell you. We were about 15 miles offshore, and I didn't like the look of things. There's shoals thereabout, and so I sent the mate forward to heave the lead. I got a proper start when I heard him sing out,
"By the deep fall."
We got off course right enough, and at this rate, we'd shear the bottom clean off her. I saw it was high time to bring the ship up and wait until we could see something.
Let go the anchor!
Let go the anchor!
Give her 35 fathoms to the water's edge, bosun.
None too soon, sir. She was shoaling fast. Blasted current must have been making 5 knots out to sea. Listen to her.
She's holding, sir.
The anchor. I forgot. The anchor. Abby! 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 I went to the longboat. It was empty. He'd heard the signal as the anchor paid out. He couldn't see in the fog, and had gone overboard into a 5-knot tide running straight out to sea, 15 miles from shore. He trusted me, and that's why I tell you, you shouldn't trust anybody. Sometimes it's hard sleeping at night. When you hear the water outside and you think, that's when it's hard to sleep.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you A Sleeping Draught by Weston Martyr, adapted by S.A. Bolt, and starring Ben Wright. Featured in the cast were John Dodsworth, Richard Peel, Charlie Lung, Alec Harford, and Eric Snowden. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are traveling east on a cross-country bus, while among your fellow passengers, seemingly innocent and friendly, are a man and a woman who plan to destroy you. You and 150 million of your countrymen.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, The Biggest Secret in the World. An auto race around the world. Impossible, you say? Well, it really happened in 1908. And tomorrow night, hear Van Johnson star in Around the World, the exciting suspense story of this unbelievable auto race. Van Johnson will be heard with the rest of Suspense's cast direct from the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, where an annual automobile show is taking place. Suspense's production tomorrow night will be a part of the auto show. Don't miss it over most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. America now rides to the tune of 25 million auto radios and listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are traveling east on a cross-country bus, while among your fellow passengers, seemingly innocent and friendly, are a man and a woman who plan to destroy you and 150 million of your countrymen.
Listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, Classified Secret.
Nice day.
Yes.
Kids sure know it's spring. Look at them.
I've been watching them.
Yeah. Kind of glad, though, I haven't got any.
Oh?
Well, you know, world conditions, things the way they are. Who wants to bring a kid into it?
I suppose so. Do you have a match?
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Have you got it? What's the matter?
Well, you don't look the type. I almost hoped you weren't.
Have you got it?
With me? No, but I'll take you to where it is.
All right. The money's in 10s, 20s, and 50s.
In the sack with the groceries?
Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be safer that way.
I guess so. How much?
10,000.
10?
That's what you agreed to.
I said 20.
I was told 10.
They made a mistake then, didn't they? Sorry.
What are you trying to do?
Nothing. Not a thing.
I was told you were with us.
I am, but I get paid for it, too, don't you?
I can't sit here any longer. You might be watched. Will you please give me...
Sorry. It was a misunderstanding.
But...
Unless you want to take me to the head man, maybe he can straighten it out.
I haven't any instructions for that. Where can I reach you?
As of about 2 hours from now, you can't. I'm leaving town.
Will you give us 24 hours? It'll take that long.
I'm sorry. If you can't pay what I want, there's somebody else who will.
I'm going.
So long. I was sitting on a bench in a little park in North Hollywood, California. The early spring sun was warm, and there was a smell of fresh-cut grass. I watched the woman I'd never seen before walk off down the path. She was headed for the avenue, and some cars parked beyond the trees. I thought how nice it would have been if she were just a woman in the park and nothing else. I waited until she was out of sight, then I got up and walked away in the opposite direction. I got the bus at the Hollywood station. I had a train ticket in my pocket, but with the new development, it looked safer to ride the bus. Just before we pulled out, a girl climbed aboard and came down the aisle looking for a seat.
Excuse me, is this number...
18.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, here, let me put your case up.
Thank you. I was afraid I was going to miss it.
Yeah, I know how it is. I settled back and watched the city drift away into desert country. As buses go, it was pretty quiet. There was a 4 or 5-year-old kid with his mother a couple of seats forward, but he dozed off almost as soon as he got running. I took a look at the girl sitting next to me, not in the way you might think, but because in my business, you get to learn to look at people. You never know who it might be. She must have felt me watching. She lowered the magazine she was reading.
Would you care to look at one of these?
That's nice of you. I always forget to buy them.
Well, this one's a mystery. I don't usually read them, but on a long trip, they kind of pass the time away.
Yeah, they do. How far are you going?
New York.
That's a long trip, all right.
I'll say. I haven't been back for 10 years. Bet it's changed.
Yeah, I guess so. I read the mystery well into Arizona. When I finished, it was beginning to get dark. The kid up ahead was awake and hungry. There was a feeling of expectation on the bus as we drove into the first night of travel.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes, it was fine. Thanks a lot.
What was it about?
Spies. Real exciting.
I like spy movies sometimes. I think they do so many of them. You read about it in the papers all the time. I don't know. I think people would get sick of it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, they're exciting, like you say. I bet it isn't really like that.
I doubt it. Well, say, my name's Charlie. Charlie Rader.
Oh, how do you do? I'm Julie Spaulding.
Hi.
That kid sounds as hungry as I am.
Yeah, we ought to be stopping soon.
I hope so.
About 15 minutes later, we pulled up at a restaurant terminal and went in for food. I watched for any new passengers who might be getting on. I didn't see anybody, and as soon as I'd finished my sandwich and coffee, I sent a telegram to New York and then got back on the bus. The girl, Julie, and I seemed to be hitting it off, and it was pleasant enough to pass the time. After we got rolling, the kid up ahead decided to sing himself to sleep. It was like a crooning over and over again, the same song, the same few notes. I guess it put everybody else to sleep except him.
Makes you sleepy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to do that. Kids are funny.
How?
Well, I don't know. I'm going back to New York for my sister's wedding. She's getting married next week. She says she wants lots of kids. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mind if I ask you something?
No, I don't mind. What?
Are you married?
No.
I don't mean it the way it sounds. I'm always interested in trying to guess about people. Now, I would have figured you were a married man with maybe 2 or 3 kids.
No, I'm not married.
No. I hope you don't think I'm nosy.
No.
Well, that kid singing fixed me. I'm going to take a nap. Good night, Charlie.
Good night. I must have dropped off, too. When I woke up, she had her head on my shoulder. A lock of her hair was falling over her closed eyes. And then I knew something was different on the bus. Somebody on the other side of the aisle, watching.
Excuse me, mister. If you got a match, I'd clean out.
Sure. Just a minute. Here you are.
Thanks.
I'm going to keep them.
Oh, fine. Thanks a lot.
Say, have you got any idea where we are?
I'm not sure. I got on at Flagstaff an hour or so back. Oh, boy, I envy her. I wish I could sleep like that. Your wife?
No.
Oh, say, that's rude. Taking your matches and not offering you a cigarette.
Oh, that's okay. No, I don't want one now, thanks.
Say, I want to tell you something. There's a lady in the seat behind you. I think you've met her before in the park. Right? We brought her with us to identify you. But she gave us a pretty good description back in L.A.
Good for her.
Well, this is going to be a nice trip. Nothing like traveling with people you know, is there?
Nothing like it.
I don't suppose you've got any reading material you could let me look at.
How about a mystery? It's a spy story. Pretty good.
No, I was thinking of something else. I think you know. Something more scientific. I'm very interested in airplanes. Jet motors.
Sorry. He looked across at me, smiling, pleasant. And anybody watching, it was nothing more than the casual conversation of 2 strangers brought together by the night and sympathy of loneliness. And he leaned back and, reaching inside his jacket, brought out a small automatic, which he kept very carefully hidden from any eyes but mine.
Always carry this with me on a trip. You never know.
I knew, all right. If they couldn't buy what they wanted, there were other ways. That's what he was telling me. And I saw in the man's smiling face that I'd never reach New York unless I killed them before they killed me.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, the program that follows tonight's story of escape is a special repeat broadcast of CBS Radio's hard-hitting drama, Bomb Target USA, with Arthur Godfrey as narrator and a corps of crack CBS Radio newsmen reporting from spotted locations and from so-called enemy bombing squadrons approaching our shores. Bomb Target USA reports factually and without fanfare exactly what America can expect today if enemy atomic bombers raided our major cities. Immediately following Escape tonight, on most of these same CBS radio stations, keep tuned for Bomb Target USA. And now, back to Escape.
Julie and I had breakfast somewhere in New Mexico. The woman from the park and the man who carried the small automatic sat in the booth while we ate at the counter. I'd thought about things most of the night, and I decided to tell the girl. Not too much, but enough so that she might be able to help. And I knew I'd need some help.
Coffee's pretty good here.
Yeah. Cigarette?
No, thanks.
Julie?
Yes?
I want to tell you something.
Oh?
I don't want you to turn around and look. Just pretend we're talking about the weather, coffee, or anything, but listen.
Well, sure, Charlie.
There's a couple sitting in the booth behind us. They're spies.
Oh, you...
I'm not kidding. I can't tell you much, but as you love your life, you'll believe me.
You're kidding. Spies?
Don't turn around. Smile. Just listen.
But
They're trying to get hold of the plans for a new jet motor. It's faster than anything anybody else has got.
You are kidding.
No, I'm not.
How do you know? How do you know about it?
I'm working for the government.
FBI?
In a way. Now, I need you to help me.
Me?
They think I've got the blueprints, the plans, and they're going to try and get them from me.
But can't we get the police?
No.
Well, why?
Because we're trying to get the head man. And if those two are arrested, we'll have to start all over again. They think I'm working with them. But I got tough about the money they offered, so now they're going to try and get rid of me and get the secret for nothing.
Did they follow you from Los Angeles?
Yes, they got on during the night in Flagstaff.
All right, folks.
I don't see... Well,
Just stick with me. I'll explain at the next stop. We can't talk about it on the bus because she's sitting right behind and he's across the aisle.
listen, are you pulling my... No. No, you're not, are you?
I'm not. Went on through New Mexico and the Pink Rock and the desert. We talked a lot of nonsense, and after a while I could see she was getting back to the idea that I'd been kidding, especially after the man with the gun introduced himself as Mr. Hutchinson and started to talk about fishing. It was about a half hour before our lunch stop.
Now, you take some of that Northern California country. Talk about trout, steelhead. I tell you,
My
you
dad
have never
used to take us up, my sister and me.
Oh?
Take us up to a place in Maine.
Oh.
Dad always wanted a couple of boys, I guess, but when he saw what he got, he figured it wouldn't spoil his plans anyway. So we took us fishing every summer. You should have seen the fishing up there.
I'd like to, someday. I'd like that. How about you, Mr. Rader? Do you like fishing?
No, not much.
Did you ever try it?
A little when I was a kid.
You ought to take it up again, if you have time.
Yes, I might do that.
If a man had a little money put away, he could do a lot of fishing. That's the way to live. Have about $10,000, go all over the country fishing, no work, no worries. How does that sound, Miss Spaulding?
Oh, what a life.
It'd take more than 10,000.
Oh, I don't know. 10's better than nothing.
$10,000? Why, you could...
They went on talking, and I did some thinking. He was smarter than I'd thought. Looked like a nice, average guy and behaved like one. That's one thing I'd learned. The more ordinary you can be, the less you're going to be suspected, and these people had it down to a science. It wasn't going to be easy because I was going to have to convince Julie all over again. I could see that. My chance didn't come until that evening after our dinner stop. By that time, the woman in the park, who went by the name of Lisa Nyland, Hutchinson, the girl, and myself, all four of us were buddies. We'd pulled up over the Colorado border. There was some kind of trouble up ahead, a slide or a wreck. And the driver told us we'd have a half hour or so before we went on.
You want to take a walk for a while? There's a cafe a couple of 100 yards back. I'll give you a call when we're ready to move on. Well, kind of nice to have an extra leg stretch. How about some coffee?
That'd be nice. Charlie?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to have a look at the valley down there. We might walk up the dirt road away, get a pretty good view. Sunset and all.
Romantic, huh?
Sure. Why not?
Oh, Charlie.
Okay with you, Lisa? You feel romantic? Want to see a valley in the sunset?
That'd be very nice.
Okay, let's go.
We walked away from the bus and up a narrow ranch road. About 100 yards up, there was a curve and around to the stand of trees. When we got there, you couldn't hear the sound from the highway any longer. It was peaceful and it was very pretty. I knew that Hutchinson was delighted about the suggestion. It was going to give him his chance, but he made the mistake of playing it a little too clever. And he kept his game of small talk going a minute too long. We got to the top of a cliff overlooking the valley when I stumbled on a rock and fell a few steps behind before they had a chance to stop. And when they did, I already had my gun out.
Hey, what are you going to do? Target practice?
No. Julie, get over here. You two, stay where you are and keep your hands behind your head.
Charlie, are you sure they seem to...
I know what they seem. Now, look, I don't want to do this, but it's you or me. You should have made the right deal in the first place. I can't let you go, you know that.
We might still make a deal.
You had your chance.
We've got the 10,000. How about waiting till we get to the next town? We'll have the rest of it telegraphed.
I make mistakes, but not that kind.
If you told us what you wanted, we might have been able to get the 20,000 for you in Los Angeles.
Turn around, both of you.
Oh, now, wait a minute. We're all in this together. We all want the same thing. You figure you can get more money from the head man in the East. Okay. Give us a chance to get it for you. We're in contact.
Turn around.
He gives us our orders. What difference does it make? Now, look, you shoot us. What do you think they'll do? They won't let you get away with it. They'll kill you.
Charlie, you can't just shoot them. Turn them over to the police. You can't just shoot them.
He can't tell the police, Julie. He's with us. Only he wants money out of it. And he thinks he'll get more from the head man in the East.
Turn around. I'm not going to say it again.
Charlie, don't. I know you've got a duty, but you can arrest them. Please, you can still...
I told you to be quiet.
Arrest? Listen, Raider, you're not going to... You're not going to kill us over 10,000. Why, it's murder, even if you...
Miss Nyland dropped without a sound. Hutchinson held his middle for a second and tried to keep his balance. I shot him in the back of the head. I knew he was dead before his body slipped to the ground. The girl just stood next to me, her hands tightly covering her mouth, and she was shivering. I took a look across the wide valley. The sky was turning purple.
I've never seen anybody killed before.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't you have arrested them or something? Couldn't you? Did you have to?
I had to. They wouldn't have stopped at killing both of us if they'd had the chance.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do now?
I've got to get the money for evidence.
What are you going to tell the driver? He'll ask where they are. Charlie? Driver's going to wonder where they are. Charlie, what are you doing?
I've got to put them over the cliff.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I've got to.
Oh, no. No, you can't. Charlie, no.
All right. Come on. We got back to the bus, and neither of us said anything about the two we'd walked off with. I guess nobody had seen us together, and after waiting around for another half hour, the driver gave up.
Well, I'll drop their baggage in La Junta. Better notify the police, too.
Screwy, all right.
Okay, folks. Sorry for the delay. You better go back to your seat, mister.
Sure. I was starved when we pulled into the depot at La Junta. I'd already made up my mind to lay over and take a detour on another bus. The girl wasn't going to be able to keep quiet much longer, and I had to get rid of her. We got out of the bus, and the two men were standing alongside, waiting.
Just a minute, please.
Hmm?
We're special agents for the FBI. Search him, Larry.
Well, just a gun and money.
Where are the other two?
The other two?
They're dead. He killed them.
Oh. We'll take those plans now, Mr. Rader. And don't do anything silly. There are 4 men covering you.
Okay. It's in my shoe. You want me to take it off now?
Please.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. This isn't worth anything, really, you know. We planted it in the factory in L.A. for someone to steal. What we wanted was to be led to the top man in New York. And when you sent that wire to him back in Arizona, we got him.
Oh.
We were worried about you, Julie, when you didn't call us from Albuquerque.
I didn't get a chance. He was with me all the time.
Is she? Is she... Are you playing spy, too, Julie?
I'm working for the government, Mr. Rader.
She's been following you since you stole the plans.
Well, you fooled me. I bet you fooled Hutchinson and Nyland, too. It won't matter to them, though, will it? Well, that's the way it goes.
Take him away, will you? I had to watch him murder those two. I don't want to hear him laugh about it.
Come on, Rader. We've got a car waiting.
Sure. So long, Julie. Nice to have met you.
Escape has brought you Classified Secret, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring Parley Bear. Featured in the cast were Charlotte Lawrence, Peter Leeds, Miriam Crucian, Tim Graham, Leroy Leonard, and Georgia Ellis. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are in a cantina in Mexico, listening to a man speak his hate for you in word and music, while somewhere, in jeopardy without your knowledge and beyond your reach, is the one you love, who may lose her life, for the man who sits across the table hating you is the only one who can save her.
So listen next week when Escape brings you E. Jack Newman's exciting story, El Guitareo. Tomorrow night, the Lux Radio Theater stars Jane Wyman and Dick Haymes. The play is Just for You, with Jane recreating her original screen role. It's a musical comedy about a widowed Broadway play producer who loves his star and faces complications in the reactions of his son and daughter. Just for You, Lux Radio Theater presents the stellar co-starring combination Jane Wyman and Dick Haymes, tomorrow night on most of these same CBS radio stations. The same evening, CBS Radio stars Fred McMurray in Suspense's saga of the Great Train Robbery. That's tomorrow night at the Star's address. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, you have a date with Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts Monday evening on the CBS Radio Network.
Of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are in a Mexican cantina, listening to a man speak his hate for you in word and music, while somewhere, in jeopardy without your knowledge and beyond your reach, is the one you love, who may lose her life, for the man who sits across the table hating you is the only one who can save her.
Listen now as Escape brings you E. Jack Newman's exciting story, El Guitarero.
There in Casorda, I learned love, and I learned hate. I learned of gentleness, and I learned violence. Above all, I learned that it is a place of an infinite and exact simplicity. There was a poet in a cantina. Me. There was a woman. There was the excusable arrogance of feeling young and creative. And lastly, there was El Guitarero.
So this is the place you hide at night after I've gone to sleep?
Not hiding, working.
We interrupt this program. We have interrupted this program for the latest on the prisoner of war exchange in Korea. We switch you now to Freedom Village, Korea. George Herman reporting.
This is George Herman at Freedom Village. We have more names for you. First, Roy M. Jones. He has given us no rank. He comes from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Then, Corporal Vernon L. Warren. Corporal Vernon L. Warren of 4073 Liberty Avenue, St. Louis. He is in fine shape. Next, Private First Class David Ludlam. Private First Class David Ludlam of 2902 MacArthur Drive, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then Private First Class Raymond Medina. Private First Class Raymond Medina, who says only that he is from New York and doesn't specify whether that is city or state. All of these are in fine shape. Additionally, we have Corporal Richard O. Morrison of Burlington, Iowa,
His address is 1001 South 5th Street. His parents are Mr. and Mrs. G.H. Morrison. He says tell Mom not to worry, that he's looking forward most to getting new glasses. He looks fine. He says his trouble is bad diet. Then we have already given you the names of Carl Kirkhausen of Washington Heights, New York, of CFC Robert C. Stell of Baltimore, Maryland. He is from the 503rd Field Artillery. He was a prisoner of war for 28 months. Also, PFC Almond Nolan. He comes from Rexville, New York. He was in the 38th Infantry of the 2nd Division. He was captured at Coonery. That's over 2 years ago. Also, PFC Marvin L. Brown of Oklahoma City. There are going on now in this huge H-shaped tent here at Freedom Village another series of 3 interviews. We hope to have additional names for you very shortly, but that's all we have at the moment. So this is George Herman at Freedom Village, returning you now to the United States.
This bulletin has come to you from CBS Radio News. Stay tuned for further news from Korea. We now resume our scheduled program.
Noches, Guitarero. Yo quiero la música. Siéntase, por favor.
What do you write?
Just notes.
It's been told to me that you are a famous man. That you are a poet.
I am a poet. Don't you approve?
I do not know of what you write.
Sit down and I'll tell you. You drink?
I have been known to drink.
Will you drink with me?
My name is Luis Caras. I will drink with you.
My name is John Webster. What do you drink?
Tequila.
And we both drink tequila. Saliente? Saliente! Vengo, senor.
Sometimes it is Paul or Frank, but mostly it is always John.
In my country, your people are always Manuel.
Senor.
Por favor, queremos dos tequilas.
Sí, senor.
It has a noble sound, this work of yours. What have you written so far?
It's not complete.
I sat down so you would tell me, poet.
Here, read it.
I cannot read.
All right. I'm writing of your land here. I say that it's a gay land, full of gay people, that it has color and sound and smell.
Every man knows that.
I told you it wasn't finished, Guitarero. I write that the gaiety is brief, the gladness is pitiful. I write that sadness is the true and the real. I write that here people live with their elementals, life and death, food, sleep, and love. That's about all I've written tonight.
It is not much.
Dos tequilas, señores.
Gracias.
Limones, señor.
Por favor.
Sí.
You have spoken of your work. What is your love?
Since we're being so down to earth, a woman.
Undependable.
This one's dependable. She's my wife. She is of your blood, from Chapala. Her name is Inez. Do you have a love?
I have been known to love several women. Why is it over a drink a man talks of a woman?
Good question. Shall we drink?
Salud, poet.
Salud, Guitarero.
This woman, how do you know you love her?
What?
Would you fight for her? Die for her? No, you would not. What do you know of life, poet? of this sadness or this death, of this gladness you write about? How can you feel if you only stand and look? How can you see?
Why do you hate me? Because I'm an American?
Americanos are good people.
Well, why did you talk to me tonight?
Ever since I lived once in Chapala, I have always wondered about a poet. I am glad I have at last seen one. Buenas noches, poet.
Buenas noches, Guitarero. That.
Árbol.
That?
Arbusto.
Arbol, tree, arbusto, bush.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Gorrión.
A sparrow is a gorrión?
Yes.
A sparrow is very important.
It is?
Back home, where there's a telephone wire to look at or a tall building you can't look beyond, I suppose there's a sparrow in the sky. I'm accustomed to that. But here, the flight of a sparrow becomes a thing of vast importance. I must have that same sparrow, that same fleeting beauty at home, everywhere.
It is everywhere. Like love. Like our love.
Yes, that's what I was speaking of. Our love. Darling, I met Luis Caras.
El Guitarero?
Yes. He is contemptuous of
He
me.
has great anger.
More than that, hate. I can't help thinking about it. Since I talked to him last night, I've begun to question everything I do. All I've done. When I came to Mexico, to Casorda, I called myself a poet. And yet, after 2 minutes with him, I feel I've been accused of lying to myself. I think he made me afraid.
What?
That I've never really lived or known joy or sadness or never completely seen anything in my life.
Oh, he's wrong. Did you speak of me?
Yes, in a way. He asked a question about you. A question that made me think that I might not even know how to love you. I know I do. I hold you and I love you and I would die for you. And it came in the form of an old truck covered with dust rattling down the road toward us. 2 men in the driver's seat looking out the grimy windows. I was still holding her in my arms.
Querido.
What, my darling?
Those men, they want something of us.
There will be no outcry, senor. This is a gun. You will come with us, senor.
No. Now, just a minute. If it's money you want.
Yes, it is money we want. Senor.
No, please help me.
Stop it. He die if you make this difficult. In the car with her, Carlos. Come, senora.
No, look here, I'm an American.
Do not go to the police, Americano, or she dies. Go back to your hotel. You will hear from us.
Oh, it's you. See. What do you want? What are you doing here?
I have come to speak with you.
We've already spoken.
We have disturbed each other.
Yes. Yes, now go. I'm in no mood for you. Go on, get out, huh? Do you hear me?
I heard you, poet.
Well, what do you want of me?
I have decided. I think most of all I want you to stop watching.
Get out of here.
A man came to me and said I was to come to you and explain that it will cost you $10,000.
Where is she?
This man knows. I do not know where she is.
Who is he? Where can I find him? I'll get the police.
He's a man I never before have seen. But I am sure that the police would make him angry.
My wife's been taken. She might be harmed. If you know who he is, how I can get her back, tell me.
The money. Get the money as quickly as possible.
Then what?
Then perhaps this man will come to me, and perhaps I will come to you to collect the money for him. That is all. It is simple, poet. Perhaps you were right about it.
He stepped out into the night. The one man who could help me get her back. The man who hated me more than anything on earth.
We will return to Escape in just a moment. But first, today more than ever, an enemy capable of surprise air attack could leave chaos in his wake. That's why all Americans should be in the Ground Observer Corps, volunteering a few hours a week to guard our skies. Be a ground observer. Contact your local civilian defense office and join up immediately. And now, back to Escape.
Above the Hotel Dominguez in Casorda, there is a hill. And on it there is a path that a man may walk and look out upon the sprawling village and listen to the sounds of the night from the cantina. On that path the air is sweet, and the sky is a warm blanket. And it is a pity that a man has to leave the path and go down into the cantina. I went down to see El Guitareo.
Poet?
Hello.
You have been away.
I had to drive to Las Noches this afternoon. I rented a car. Do you have news?
The question is, do you have news, Poet?
I wired New York last night. They arranged a credit transfer to the Bank of Mexico in Mexico City. The money was flown into Las Noches this afternoon. That's why I went there.
And you have it?
Yes. Here.
What about the other?
What other?
The police.
I've talked to no one but you. No one knows she's been kidnapped.
A lie would mean her life.
I know. Believe me, I've done everything you asked me to do. All I want is her. Now, when can I have her?
That is not up to me, but up to the man who will see me as he has promised. He will have to have the money.
Well, when he brings her to me, he can have the money.
That is not the way he wishes to do it. He asked that I give him the money.
No.
He assured me that it has to be counted and divided and that these things take time.
If I give you this money, how do I know I'll ever see her again?
I am only an emissary. If you do not wish to do business with me, do it elsewhere, Poet.
Here. Take it.
I think you have learned something.
You are right, Luis. I have. Hate.
That is good for a man to know.
What happens now?
This man will come to me and take the money.
When? I can't...
He did not say when. You must wait, Poet. Patiently.
I waited. And there was no news that night or the next night. I spent the time, the crawling minutes, remembering all of what she meant to me. Feeling with great hunger the nearness that was her. Somewhere in the waiting I learned pain.
The man has asked me to bring you a message, poet.
What?
It is about your transaction.
Did you see him? Did you give him the money?
I did all that.
Oh, come on. What?
This man said to me that he wants more money. $10,000 more.
No, that is inhuman.
He explained to me that it was simple for you to get the first so he would like another.
But he promised he'd give it back to me if I paid him.
He did not refer to that. He merely said that he would contact me this night again and that he's most anxious for your answer.
I haven't got it.
He's of the opinion that you can get it.
But I can't. I haven't any more. I paid him all the money I had in the world, all I could raise.
You wish for me to tell him that?
Tell him I just can't get it.
He will probably kill her. But I will tell him what you have said, poet.
Where is she? What have you done with her?
I have done nothing with your woman. I am only an emissary.
No. You've been lying. You're in with him. You planned it. You hate me and you want to take something away from me.
How does it feel to be a helpless little man, poet? Not even able to write of your own helplessness as you have written of others. The ones with their sadness. How does it feel to be one of them? Can you write of it?
Where is she, Louis? You'll die if you don't tell me where she is.
Do poets love anything but their words and themselves?
Tell me?
This is a knife, poet. It stops you, huh?
No!
I told you the knife would stop you. Poet.
The dawn of any morning is a cold time, even if the sun promises warmth to come. This dawn was unfamiliar. It was cold, true, but it was away from things I knew. A woman with an Indian face was bending over me. Who are you?
No comprendo inglés, señor.
What?
You're awake, poet?
You? What?
This is Senora Amelia. She has bound up your wounds. She's expert in this.
¿Y siente dolor?
She wants to know how you feel.
I feel all right, I guess.
It was a slight wound. I could have done worse. Can you stand, poet?
No, está tan enfermo para mover.
Poet, I like you no better now than I did 4 hours ago. Something stopped me from killing you as I could have. Now it is important that you stand on your feet and live. We will get the woman.
We?
That is what you want? This woman?
Yes, yes.
We will get her together.
He made me walk for an hour in the gathering daylight. He gave me no help and no words, but led me across that hill in back of Casorda, and beyond it to a dry, rocky valley. And as we crossed a dirt road, we came in sight of an adobe. Beside it sat a battered truck.
Wait, poet. After I spoke with you last night in the room, I met one of these men who have taken your money and your wife. I told him what you said. Then I followed him to this place. The woman is in there.
Are they with him?
See, they got her. There are 2 of them and 2 of us. Now, here's a knife for you, and I will keep this one. Are you ready, poet?
I'm ready, Guitareo. Wait, what? I'll go in first.
Do you know how to use a knife?
I learned from you.
¿Qué pasa?
I've come for my wife.
Come on.
Luis, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. He is not so good. Now, try there.
Locked.
Get over you.
It's all over. All over. I've come for you. I've come for you. Back there, in Casoda, I learned love, and I learned hate. I learned of gentleness, and I learned of violence, and I learned the terror of simplicity. Luis Caras taught them to me, because he hated me, and he will always hate me. But he learned what he had never been sure of. A poet will fight and die for a woman he loves. And that is of vast importance to El Guitarero.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you El Guitarero by E. Jack Newman, starring Eddie Firestone as John Webster and Jack Crucian as Luis. Featured in the cast were Lillian Baeff, Charlie Lung, and Herb Ellis. The special music for Escape is composed and played by Leet Stevens, with guitar sequences written and played by Jose Barroso. Next week.
You are aboard a dead ship, drifting aimlessly in the endless reaches of the Indian Ocean, while the 3 men who are your companions, unaware of your innermost thoughts, are making their own plans for the division of treasure, which, because you are a woman, can mean life or death for you all.
So listen next week when Escape brings you The Derelict, adapted by Larry Roman. Tomorrow night, listen for the Lux Radio Theater, starring Dan Daly and Deborah Paget. Also tomorrow night, Frank Lovejoy stars on Suspense, both on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America is listening with 14 million kitchen radios and listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
to get away from it all. We offer you escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are aboard a dead ship, drifting aimlessly in the endless reaches of the Indian Ocean, while the three men who are your companions, unaware of your innermost thoughts, are making their own plans for the division of treasure, which, because you are a woman, can mean life or death for you all.
Listen now as Escape brings you Larry Roman's unusual story, The Derelick.
I'm rich now. Good looking, too. A lot of guys have said so. 29, and that's on the square. Dark eyes, dark hair, and I've been a dancer all my life, so you can figure out for yourself how I'm built. I'm not telling you this out of conceit or anything. I just want you to know what you'd have if you had me. And you can have me, any one of you. All you gotta do is come out and get me. A couple of weeks ago, I climbed aboard the freighter Capricorn out of Singapore for Suez with a load of porcelain and 6 passengers. I had a job waiting for me in Cairo, but I took a ship instead of a plane. 1, for the dough. 2, because I was in no hurry to start working. The honest truth was my feet were giving me fits. 4 days out in the Indian Ocean, a monsoon started up, and the Capricorn just busted to pieces on the reef. I don't know how long I floated around, hanging onto some wood, till they hauled me into a lifeboat.
All right now. Easy with her.
Gently. Do not cruise her on the side. There we go.
Clear off that canvas, Blue War. Set her down.
I'm all right.
Certainly. There.
Here. Throw this jacket round you.
I'm okay. No kidding.
The jacket.
Thanks.
And clamp your legs under the seat. Everyone all right? Everything all right here, Mr. Mike? Okay. We're just going to have to ride her out. You all right?
Sure.
You're not sick anymore.
All done. Kind of silly, wasn't it? Like a kid.
No, not so silly.
May I do something for you, my dear?
No, thanks. I'm really okay.
Keatman. Henry von Keatman's my name. It was my cargo of porcelain on the ship.
I'm Mark Bowman.
Cora Moore. Hello.
This is Lou Wall, or is it Wall Lou?
My name is Lou Wall.
Chinese, part of the crew. Well, some predicaments, huh? Others all drown, I suppose.
Or adrift like us?
No drown, I think. We were the lucky ones. Some are, some aren't. Well, spirits up, everybody. Look. We have water for a few days, so that is fine.
Sure.
Well, people do not get lost at sea these days, not with airplanes and so much ocean travel.
All right. We'll set up watches and take turns trying to catch fish.
Fish? Who can think of food now?
There's always later. You take the first watch, Keatman. Lou Wah and I will...
Are you setting yourself up as captain, Mike?
I hadn't thought of it that way.
I want to be captain. I've always wanted to run a ship.
Well, I don't care who's captain, but someone's got to watch and someone's got to fish.
Very well. We all got jobs to do. Well, who will you fish?
Hold on.
Mike will watch. I shall tend to the water, portion out the proper amounts, and Cora, my dear, you shall sit there and be womanly.
The water sits in the middle so everyone can see it. Cora helped out like everyone else.
Well, sure, Mike. Just tell you what you want.
Settled, Mr. Keatman?
Settled, Captain Bowman.
I got a long look at them. Keatman, big around the middle and chest, white, shiny face, powerful arms. Mike, middle size, not bad looking, with clear blue eyes. Kind of girl ought to have. Lou was small, good at catching fish. So there we were, 3 men and me in a tub, bobbing around the Indian Ocean, drifting. Then on the afternoon of the second day...
Oh, look at you see!
Oh, ship!
Coming right for us, Mike, look at it.
I told you we'll be found. Hello!
Save your breath, it's miles off.
Oh, we rowed to it, the oars. Waloo, the oars. Mike, the oars. Quick! Come on! Forward!
It was dusk by the time we got aboard. She was a 3-masted sailing ship. All her lifeboats were gone and junk was all over her deck. Seaweed and ocean stuff, so you knew she'd been under once. An old barkentine, Mike said. A ghost ship. Her deck cabins were caved in and she stank from rot. We looked her over. Then down in the captain's quarters we saw it. First, a couple of human skeletons in a pile of junk that was once closed. Then a metal box, near the skeletons, open. And in it were bricks of greenish yellow stuff. Mike knew right off what it was.
Gold.
Gold? Impossible, it cannot be.
That's gold, all right. I've seen gold before.
Well, sure it is.
Sure it is. Oh, feel it. Hold on. 20, 30 pounds of brick. That's a fortune.
No kidding? How much?
I don't know, but a fortune, easily a great amount.
Easily. Shut the box, Keatman.
There's a salvage laws. It's ours.
If we bring it in.
We will.
We've got another problem,
But I tell you, you do not get lost at sea these days. This is 1953. You do not get lost at sea in 1953.
No. Shut the box. It won't swim off.
What? Derelick, who are you to tell me what to do?
Oh, stop it, you two. Squabble like a couple of chorus girls.
Oh. Sorry. I apologize.
All right. Now let's check the galley. We ought to figure out a way to start a fire.
What about the skeleton?
So what about them?
Well, you should get them overboard. I do not like to share the ship with them.
You do what you want.
You throw them overboard, Mike, if you don't mind. I wouldn't care to touch them.
Well, other things come first.
That is right. And before we do anything, don't you think we should have an understanding?
About what?
The gold.
What's there to understand? There are 4 of us. We bring it in, it's split 4 ways.
4 ways, yeah. Then I have a right. Now you go to the galley, Mike. I will stay here. I want to count the gold.
All right. Come on, Cora.
No, I'll stay down here if you don't mind. I'd like to know how much there is, too. Honest to Pete, I don't know why I said it. I wasn't thinking it. It just came out. Well, it rained that night, and we collected a lot of clean, fresh water. Next day, it was real sunny and warm. We cleaned the ship up a bit. All of a sudden, I got the feeling how funny things were. Adrift at sea on a ghost ship. Though we had food, water, sun. At times, it was almost like a pleasure cruise.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sleep well?
Not too good. Of course, the place you fixed up for me was real nice, but... Well, I kept thinking about things. Cora Moore from San Diego with a jackpot. You know, you don't seem too happy about it.
First problem first.
We'll get found. Keithman's right. You don't get lost at sea these days. Ship is bound to cross us. Isn't it?
Sure.
So then we'll all be rich and happy. You still don't feel good about it.
I remember once when I was a kid. I reached for a pot in a dice game. My winnings was fair. I got the back of my hand ripped open with a knife. I never got the winnings.
I see. Counting your chickens.
That's it.
Well, everybody does that. Look at me. I was going to be a ballet dancer. I was a ballet dancer. In my mind, I mean. Pirouettes and all that. Who knew I was going to end up a fan dancer?
Well, that's not so bad.
No? Oh, well. What are you going to do with your share of the gold? I mean, if we bring it in.
Go back to Australia, get a ranch, sheep.
Sounds like work. You won't have to work. You'll have enough.
I don't mind.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Fine this morning. Where's Waloo?
Lou Wah is making breakfast.
This morning I would like fish for breakfast. Have him make fish. I feel good. I slept well. I always knew the rich slept well no matter what they tried to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the skeletons are gone, Mike.
I tossed them overside last night.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Lou Wah found a barrel of nails. We're going to board up some cabin holes after we eat. You'll help?
Certainly.
I'll see you later, Cora.
Surly fellow. Well, you look lovely this morning, my dear. A fresh look. The sea air, yeah. You are a beautiful girl.
Sure. I'll get better looking to you the longer we're at sea.
Cora, my dear, I've been doing some calculations in regard to our wealth. If the bars weigh 20 pounds apiece, and since there are 100 of them, we have 20 by 12 by 100 by 35, the value of gold per ounce. In dollars, $840,000.
Buy a lot of meat and potatoes.
Ah, filet mignon, pheasant, pompano, almondine.
What's that?
Something very delicious. Now, suppose the bar weighs 25 pounds. $1 million.
$1 million?
If the gold is sold at Macau, where the market is free, say $50 an ounce, $1,500,000.
Oh, it keeps getting bigger.
Matter of multiplication. Multiplication is a wonderful thing. It makes everything grow.
Uh-huh.
Division, however, is not so wonderful.
What do you mean?
Well, take a large satisfactory number and divide, say, by 4. What are you left with? A small unsatisfactory number. Do you follow me?
No.
Mull it to yourself, my dear. I'm sure it will come to you.
Sure, I knew what he was getting at, but I wasn't letting on. Sometimes it pays to play dumb. Well, the day went on as usual, our ship drifting and us not seeing anything but the water and sky. And then that night, laying in my bunk, suddenly began to think of something. I don't know why, but there I was all of a sudden thinking about Keithman and those ideas of his on multiplication and division. It just jolted me out of my bed. I ran out on deck. Mike came from one way, Keithman from the other, and we met at the railing.
Lou Wah! Lou Wah, where are you? No need to shout more. Look.
A few feet from us, the railing was all ripped away. We knew right off. Lou Wah was overboard. We could see the fin of a great shark cut the dark water and disappear.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first...
You should not have leaned against the railing. The wood is rotten.
What makes you think he leaned?
The ship tossing then, it threw him against the side.
Luwa was a sailor. It's a calm sea. He could keep his feet in this ocean.
I don't understand you, Mike. How else could they have gone overboard?
There are ways.
I can't imagine.
Look, do we have to stand around talking about it?
Oh, of course not, my dear. Accidents do happen. There's no point.
Gateman, you watch your step.
Oh, what could you mean by that, Mike?
Just watch your step, that's all. I don't know what happened to Luwa, but you just watch your step.
As you say, Captain Borman.
Come on, Cora. I'll walk you back to your cabin.
Mike walked me back. I had my chance to do some talking, to tell him about the conversation I'd had with Keatman, about multiplication and division. I should have told Mike. I know it. But somehow the words just wouldn't come out. I don't know why. Mike left me. I asked him to, and I tried to get some sleep. No luck. I kept thinking about poor Luwa and also something else. I don't really know why I thought about it, but the fact is I did. Without me doing anything, I just got richer.
Cora?
Hmm?
Are you asleep? May I come in?
Well,
Just for a few moments, my dear. I want to talk to you.
All right. Just a sec. It's real late.
Oh, just a little while. The thing is, I do not get to see you enough alone. Oh, Cora.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, it's all right. Mike is asleep. He will not hear.
Hands off, mister. That's all.
Oh, have I made a mistake? I thought you had some feelings for me.
Well, it's just that... Hey, you sure rush a girl.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Why don't you go now, Keatman?
Oh, no, Henry.
Why don't you go, Henry? I feel kind of upset tonight. You know what I mean. Luwa and everything.
Yeah, all right, my dear.
You're not mad?
Oh, no.
There'll be other times.
Oh, yes, of course, other times. Cora,
when
we are safe on land and rich, we will go someplace, you and I. Italy, perhaps, or the south of France. Cora, 1.5 million divided by 3 is a large number. That should mean a lot to you.
Yeah, I have to admit. I've been thinking about it.
1.5 million divided by 2 should mean even more.
In the morning, I found Mike at the ship's bow, looking out at the sea. I remember saying to myself, he looked kind of good to me. Funny how a guy can look one way to you at one time, then at another look so very different.
Oh, hello.
What do you see?
The usual. Nothing.
Oh, it's not so bad. Still got fish and water. It's only the 3rd day. Guys were adrift during the war for weeks. They got saved.
Sure.
They had it worse than us. Mind if I sit here with you?
No, of course not. You seen Keatman? Below, I guess, counting.
Yeah. He sure has gone off on that gold. You know, I've been thinking.
About what?
Those skeletons we found. You wonder who they are? Who they were?
A little.
You think they were part of the crew or come on later like us?
Well, it looks to me like the whole crew abandoned ship. No, I'd say those two came on later, after the ship came up from the bottom.
And they found the gold, huh? Just like us?
Uh-huh.
I wondered what happened then. Sure smells good up here. It's about the only place aboard you don't smell the ship's rot. Maybe I should have been a sailor instead of a dancer. A lot of good outdoors.
Ranching gets you outside, too.
Yeah. That Australia's just loaded down with fresh air. What about sheep, huh?
What about them?
They smell?
Sheep aren't so bad.
Maybe I ought to use my share of the gold to buy a ranch next to yours. We could be neighbors and get together to talk about hard times. All this, I mean.
Cora.
Hmm?
Cora, I don't know. I can't quite tell whether it's because of the mess we're in or... Well, I suppose it might be different on land when we're safe, but...
What are you trying to say, Mike?
Oh, nothing. You forget it, Cora.
Sure. All right. Mike. Keatman came into my cabin last night.
He did?
I thought there was going to be trouble.
When I let Cora...
No, it's all right. The only thing is... Well, I think you better watch yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, it's what he said to me. He said him and me could split the gold in two.
Yeah.
I just thought I ought to tell you.
Thanks.
There's a knife in the galley. I don't want to suggest anything, but nobody's going to blame you if you move first. I don't know why I said it the way I said it. I didn't mean to say it that way. It sort of came out. Funny how you do things sometimes. For no real reason, I mean. Well, the third day went by, and we just kept drifting and drifting. Nothing to look at but ocean and sky. Then toward late afternoon, we saw something. Just a speck in the sky, but then it came closer and closer. A plane. One of those big 4-engine passenger jobs.
Hey! Hey, down here! Down here! Hey!
Keatman waved his shirt and screamed to beat the band. The plane saw us, dipped its wings, and then took off again. We knew it would send the ship and that we'd soon be saved. That night in the galley, we sat down for what we hoped would be our last meal on the Derelick.
Fish. Have some delicious fish.
Thank you. I don't want any more.
Cora?
I don't feel much like eating.
Water, then. Have a big drink of water.
No, I don't want any.
Watch out. You're spilling it.
Oh, who needs it anymore? I told you we'd be found. This is 1953. The ship will come to us tomorrow, I bet.
All right. And we'll celebrate tomorrow. You put the water down. We've still got tonight.
Tonight? Yeah, tonight.
Keatman shut up then, and a few minutes later left the galley. Then Mike went out, too. That's when I noticed that the galley knife wasn't there anymore. The sea got kind of choppy that night, and I was sure restless. Wind started acting up. It began to rain. It looked like a storm was building. Then I heard the scream. I ran out along the wet deck and stood outside the hold, looking down into the blackness. I couldn't see, but I knew what it was. Mike and Keatman. And only one was going to come up. Only one. Henry.
I got the knife in him before he knew what happened.
Mike?
Done. We divide by two, my love, by two as it should be.
I gotta get into my cabin. I'm getting all wet.
Oh, wait. Hey, Cora.
Yeah?
The ship will come to us today, to us, to you and me. The $1.5 million is ours.
I know, Henry.
To France? Or would you rather Italy?
Whatever you want, Henry.
Anything?
Yeah.
Oh, Cora. Cora, my love.
Oh, Cora! Cora!
I don't know why I did it. Honest to Pete, I wasn't thinking about it. I just did it all of a sudden. I gave him a shove, and he went right over the side. I could see him in water just for a second. His face whiter than ever and his eyes bugging out. And then he was gone. The storm lasted for days. 3, 4. I don't remember now. And it tossed the ship I don't know how many which ways. Then the sky cleared up. Sun got all warm again. It's been this way a couple of days now. Well, I haven't seen the rescue ship. Water's gone. Fish, too. And I'm alone. But like I say, I'm rich. I'm still good looking. Any of you can have me and gold. All you gotta do is come out and get me. But please, please come quick.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you The Derelick, adapted by Larry Roman from a story by Victor Schwartz and starring Charlotte Lawrence as Cora. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns as Keatman, Ben Wright as Mike, and Charlie Long as Lou Waugh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week.
You are standing guard deep in the forests of Africa, while around you, closing in on you, are the dreaded Mau, who, if you relax your guard, will kill you.
So listen next week when Escape brings you John Dehner's terrifying story, Lili and the Colonel. This coming Tuesday night, mystery fans will want to stop, listen, and thrill to Mr. and Mrs. North Looking for Trouble on CBS Radio. And to John Lund as yours truly, Johnny Dollar, probing the San Antonio matter. The Norths collide with homicide and come close to grief themselves. Johnny Dollar comes close to falling in love, closer still to trouble in San Antone. Remember, they're both this coming Tuesday night on most of these same CBS radio stations. Mr. and Mrs. North, and yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Don't miss them. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, you're invited to Art Linkletter's house party every weekday on the CBS Radio Network.
Grind. Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
standing guard deep in the forests of Africa, while around you, closing in on you, are the dreaded Mau Mau, who, if you relax your guard, will kill you.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Dehner's terrifying story, Lili and the Colonel.
I first met Colonel M.O.V. Abernathy at the Rift Valley Club, Kenya Colony, East Africa. The Rift Valley Club, being a particular club of particular people, frowned with beetling brow upon the occasional invasion of its dignity by people like myself. I'm qualified, of no particular family or traditional distinctions. Possibly because I was a Sandhurst man. A lieutenant with the Lancashire Fusiliers had something to do with my invitation into the hallowed circle. At all events, I was invited, and I went.
Sandhurst, eh?
That's right, sir.
Sandhurst. I was at Sandhurst myself, 1917.
That's her, sir. Well.
Still turning them out the way they used to?
Not knowing how they used to turn them out, I couldn't say, sir.
Capital. At least they turn them out with humor. Only thing that's kept me alive, a sense of humor.
Yes, I can see that.
Sent down from Suez, were you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
How was old Suez? Haven't been there for 14 years.
Oh, as it always has been, I suppose. I don't imagine it would change much.
And now you are here to save us from the Mau Mau.
I'm quite sure you can save yourselves, Colonel.
Of course we could if it weren't for the bunglers and the bungling.
The second time I met Colonel Abernathy was under quite different circumstances. My patrol had been called to the farm of one James C. Curry to investigate a murder. On the way, I stopped by Colonel Abernathy's house and brought him along in case identification was needed. He knew everybody in the valley. It was difficult to identify, but on viewing the remains, the colonel decided that since the boots were of crocodile leather and his friend had a liking for crocodile boots, the sum of the two must add up to the body of James C. Curry himself lying under the rose bush. Neither of us said a word as I drove him home.
Come in for a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I really should be getting back to quarters.
Nonsense. Lancashire Fusiliers won't cease operations because their brightest officer isn't back on the dot. Anyway, you need a drink.
Well, I could use one, sir.
Good. Number?
Colonel of Nettie, you back, Warner?
Tell your mistress.
She have blast headache. I tell her you come back.
Headache? Always having a headache. Oh, sit down, Temple. I'll have your drink in a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir. Incidentally, while your boy is out, may I ask, sir, is he Kikuyu?
Governor? No, he's Jalua. Think he's tried his Jalua. Here, I'm giving it to you straight, sliced through any fog.
Thank you. You're not sure he's Jalua?
Well, I'll ask him when he comes back. Now, young man, a toast to James C. Curry, as fine a man as ever breathed. Dead today at the hands of the Mau Mau.
James C. Curry.
Mrs. Abernathy say headache much better. She will come in moment.
Good. Ngambri, the Bwana will have another whiskey.
Yes, Bwana. I will fix it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Very good.
I tell you, Temple, that...
I beg your pardon, Colonel, but you asked...
who? Yes. Ngambri.
Bwana.
What are you?
Bwana?
Tribe. What tribe do you belong to?
I am Jalwa.
Does the Jalwa have Mau Mau? What the devil do you do that for? Don't stand there clicking like an idiot. What do you say?
Mau Mau is only Kipsigi and Kikiu. I am Jalwa.
Very well. Now give Mr. Temple his drink and then get out.
Yes, Bwana. Drink, Bwana.
Blasted idiot.
I don't believe him.
You think he's a Kikuyu?
I do, sir, and the sooner you get rid of him, the better.
Every head boy a Mau Mau, is that it?
If I'm right and he is a Cuke, then it's quite possible that he is also a Mau Mau.
And if he is Mau Mau, he'll chop my head off. Weak, sir. Weak.
It happened to Curry. It could happen to others.
You still want to save me?
I'm only here to do what I can, sir. It is my job.
Young man, what happened to Curry needn't happen to me. There are still those who know how to handle this thing, and alone if necessary. In my day, we knew how to keep the old wog in his place. Full justice, mind you, but also this.
That pistol of yours may have seen its day, sir. You know, times are changing.
Only because men have become too weak to prevent it. I'm surprised that you, a Sanders man, should have failed to grasp the fundamental traditions that gave strength to the empire.
What empire, sir?
What empire? Blast it, the empire.
Oh, Julian? Julian, have you seen Cabbikins? I don't know where that cat can be.
It was the Colonel's lady. She stood half in shadow in the doorway with something of a smile on her lips. An attractive woman, I thought. Perhaps 45 or 50. But when she came towards us and the light fell on her, I could see that what might have been attractive was only an illusion of powder and rouge heavily proportioned and badly applied to an aging, unhappy face.
Oh, my dear, may I introduce Mr. Charles Temple?
Oh, how do you do?
Mrs. Evans?
Please sit down.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just leaving.
Oh, no, please. It isn't often that I have an opportunity to talk to a handsome young man. And from the outside world, too.
Oh, well,
What happened today, dear? Why did you run out so quickly? Julian never tells me anything. I'm always in the dark.
Well, I'm afraid that I'm responsible today, Mrs. Abernathy. I needed his help.
Help?
Mr. Temple will tell you. I'm off to bed. Good night.
Good night, sir, and please think over what I said. Get rid of your boy.
Young fellow, I like you. But as for your advice, I shall handle my affairs my way. Good night.
Are you a difficult man, Mr. Temple?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, I hope you're not like Julian. You know, bouncing about and exploding.
Oh, I don't suppose I am. Quite.
I'd be disappointed if you were. And what was it Julian said you'd tell me?
One of your neighbors was killed today.
Killed? Who?
James Curry.
Jim Curry. Jim Curry? Who'd want to kill Jim Curry? Why? Why?
Mrs. Abernathy, please.
Oh, no. No, I'm quite all right. How did it happen?
Mau.
Mama. There must be a way out. There must be a way out.
Yep.
There must be a way out.
Something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Here, you think this.
Thank you. Better. Oh, that's better.
Yes. Well, I hate to, but I must go now, Mrs. Abernathy.
Oh, please don't. Sit beside me.
Let me call the Colonel. He can live with you.
But he can't help me.
More than I can, I'm sure. Now, please, will you let me... It lay broken at our feet. A cat strung up by the neck to a willow branch. Mrs. Abernathy's cat. And outside, somewhere in the dark, beyond the shattered window, were those who had done this thing. It was the Mau Mau. I heard the Colonel behind me as I ran out of the door. The moon was huge in the sky. It was shining down with a blue-white light, and the beauty of the clearing became suddenly terrifying because of what we knew was lying hidden in the dark trees.
Probably miles away by now.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Wait. What? Shot him. Come on. Give me a hand. Hey, you recognize him?
Never seen this one before.
Got him in the stomach. Should get him to a hospital right away. He's a big devil. Take him under the shoulder, will you? We'll carry him to the car. I took him to the nearest clinic at Naivasha. All night he hovered between life and death. All night I questioned him vainly, and much of the next day. And then, toward the end, I asked him if he knew he was dying. He rolled his head toward me, and the look in his eyes showed me that he knew he was. It was then that all my questions were answered. Name? Matemba. Tribe? Kikuyu. Mau Mau? Yes. Family? One brother. And this brother was Colonel Abernathy's head boy, Ngumwe. Colonel Abernathy! Colonel Abernathy!
Who's there?
It's Temple.
Oh, thank heaven it's you. Come in. I'm all alone.
Where is the Colonel and Ngumwe?
They've been gone all day. They left me alone. I've never been so terrified in my life.
Will you be back soon?
My tabikins and the shooting. Oh, yes, they'll be back soon.
I shall wait for him then.
He gave me a pistol and said I must carry it with me until he comes back.
He's wise.
I hate guns. They're for killing. Oh, do sit down, Mr. Temple. I must look a fright. No makeup and this old gown. You must think I look a fright.
Oh, not at all. You look very well indeed.
Thank you, kind sir, she said. May I make you a drink?
Oh, no, thank you, Mrs. Abernathy.
I think I shall have one. If I don't look out, I shall become a drunkard. A solitary drunkard.
Oh, I'm sure you're much too sensible for that.
Julian doesn't think I'm sensible. He called me silly. That'll make me feel much better. You're awfully nice. You're not like the other men. You seem very kind.
Oh, I'm not really. No, quite the opposite. I beat children the second Tuesday of every month.
I gather you're married then? Somebody in England?
No, I'm not married. Mrs. Abernathy, I have something to tell you. I thought of waiting for the Colonel, but since you should know about it too...
If it's anything unpleasant, I won't hear it.
It concerns you very directly. You should listen.
No. We shall talk of everything, but not about Kenya or Africa and colonels and poor unhappy black people and everything.
Very well. I'll wait for the Colonel.
Oh, now you've been wounded. The handsome soldier's been wounded on the battlefield of affection. Here, drink from my glass. Here.
Hmm?
Oh, now, just a sip.
All right, then. Just a sip.
There. Jim Curry thought I was attractive. Am I attractive, Charles?
Yes. Yes, of course.
I mean, to you.
Well, after all, you are a married woman. And, well, you know...
No. Sit quietly and listen. If I told you that you're the handsomest man I know, and if I told you that I was in love with you...
Mrs. Abernathy...
Would you take me away with you?
Please.
Would you? Would you put me in your pocket and take me?
Of course. Yeah, right in my pocket.
No. I don't feel very well. I think I shall lie down.
Poor... Oh, Temple. Oh, sorry I couldn't be here when you came. Where's Lili?
She's not well, sir. I think last night was a bit too much for her. She's resting.
Well, tell me, what happened to the beggar you shot?
Nan died this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Incidentally, I was right about Ngumbe.
How do you mean?
We questioned the native all night. And just before he died, he confessed that he belonged to the Mau.
Well, what has that to do with Ngumbe?
They're brothers.
And he is a Kikuyu after all.
Yes, sir. Get rid of him. But quietly, we don't want to aggravate the situation.
Dying devil. Don't worry. I know what to do.
One more thing. I want you to place a light in your front windows.
Oh? What for?
Well, we shall be patrolling the valley tonight, and we'll have a clear view of your home most of the time. Should anything happen, you turn out the light. We'll know then that you're in trouble, and we'll be along in a jiffy.
Right you are.
Yes. Well, I must be off now, sir. Good night, Colonel. And please be careful with Ngumbe.
Goodbye, Temple.
Now, I must piece together the remainder of the story from details related to me by Ngumbe himself. I thought of it many times, and although Ngumbe was punished for what he did, I cannot in good conscience hold him totally responsible for what went wrong.
Ngumbe!
Yes, Wana.
Come here.
Wana?
Ngumbe, you're a liar.
Wana? What do you mean?
You know very well what I mean. There was a man shot here last night, and he was your brother.
No. My brother on the reserve.
He died this morning, and he said he was your brother.
My brother died?
Moreover, you belong to the Kikuyu tribe.
No. Jalo.
You will die to my face, you dog.
No. Maybe some Kikuyu. But I could head both.
I do not tolerate lying by anyone.
Wana, please.
You shall be punished for this. I hope you can at least stand up to your medicine.
Medicine?
Put your hands to your side. To your side, I said. Stand straight. That will teach you to lie. Now, get your things together and get out. I shall pay you when you leave. I said go.
What? If you hit me with hand closed, it's good. And I am a man, too. But you hit me with open hand. That makes me not a man.
Get out! And tell your Mau dogs that if they want the same medicine to come to me, and I'll get it to them. Get out. Stop. All treacherous lot, a whole lot of them. Shoot the whole lot that we can do to them.
What are you doing, Julian?
What? You startled me. I'm moving this lamp over to the window.
What for? What's the lamp for?
Temple wants it to remain on all night.
Oh, such a lovely young man.
Will you listen to what I'm telling you?
Mr. Temple wants it to remain on all night, I heard. Why?
If for any reason you need Mr. Temple's help, you're to turn it off. He'll see it and come to you at once.
How nice. Turn it off and he'll come to me at once. Did he really say that?
Yes. Now, another thing. I've dismissed Ngumbe.
I know. I was watching through the door.
Well?
I saw you strike him. Bravely. Colonel.
Don't say it like that. The only way to make him understand is the only way they understand who's master. There's too much mollycoddling with these people.
Is there?
Oh, no matter. Where's your pistol?
I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, in the name of heaven. I told you to carry it with you at all times. Can't you understand it's for your own good? Here. Take mine. I expect you to keep it with you all the time. Do you understand?
I won't have it, Julian.
It's for your safety, Lily.
I don't want it. It's hateful. Everything here is hateful.
Lily?
I'm leaving. I'm going away. Far away. From this house. From Kenya. From you.
I've been drinking.
Yes, I have. And I'll have some more.
Stop it, Lily.
Give me that bottle.
Sorry?
Sorry. You're sorry. You don't know what it is to be sorry. I've been sorry for 25 years. I'm sick. I'm sick for living with you. The way you stand. The way you walk. Parade grounds. Always on parade. That's right. Run away. Go on. You never talk to me. You never did. You never gave me anything. Anything kind. Anything nice. Tell me you're loving now because I don't. I don't want it. You hear me? Go on. Run away. Go on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm going. I know you ain't loving me. You'll never care. Oh, you're afraid. You never care.
Evening, Juana.
Who's there? Who's there? You hear me? Blast you, do you hear me?
Blast you, do you hear me?
Where are you? Ngumbi? Is that you?
Is that me?
I'm armed. Come closer and I'll shoot. I can see all of you. I can see you.
I can see you better. You're not armed. Look, you forgot pistol.
Ngumbi, listen to me. I forbid you to do this, do you hear? Stand out in the open where I can see you. You're a coward, Ngumbi. I don't deal with cowards. If you have grievances, we shall talk them over as men. You hear me?
The day you hit me, you make me not a man.
I struck you, you deserved it. Now, stand out in the open where I can see you. Be a man, blast you. Ngumbi. Ngumbi. I say, come out.
Julian? Julian, I know you're out there. I mean what I say. I'm going away. Julian? Oh, very well. Don't answer me then. But you're a fool. You could have kept me. If you were kind. I only wanted kindness. Mr. Temple is kind. Oh, how stupid of me. The lights. Julian said he'd come to me if I turned off the lights. Now he'll come to me. Charles Temple? Is that you? Oh, you must have been waiting just outside. It is you. It is. I can see you. Oh, you've come for me. Did you come to take me away in your pocket? Go away. What? No. No. No.
When I arrived with the patrol, the house was dark. My men found the colonel lying dead in a thorn bush. I found the colonel's lady, poor unhappy woman, at the screen door to the veranda. There was a strong smell of whiskey about. I turned my head away.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you Lili and the Colonel by John Boehner, starring Ben Wright as Charles Temple, Paula Winslow as Lili, and Ramsey Hill as the Colonel, with Dave Young and Lou Krugman. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week. You are on a paradise island, living in happiness and freedom. And the woman who loathes you for what you are is planning to take away your freedom and forever put an end to your happy life. So listen next week when Escape brings you Somerset Maugham's unusual story, Vessel of Wrath. The Lux Radio Theater and Suspense are putting on two of their top shows of the season. Suspense presents William Shakespeare's Othello with Richard Widmark as the star. And Lux Radio Theater brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS radio network. Brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS radio network. This is CBS Radio Boston, WEEI. Most oil companies recommend and sell an upper lube at extra cost. Jenny gives you upper cylinder lubrication free of extra cost. Top cylinder lubricant, a patented gasoline improver, is blended in every gallon of Jenny gasoline. You save up to 5 cents a gallon over purchasing packages of upper lube separately. The time is 10 o'clock. Stay tuned for the Quiz Kid.